Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. As you can see, things have changed a little bit here in our filming setup. We got some new decorations, some new shelves and posters, new lighting, and a new way for the camera to sit. No need for me to hold it constantly, so you get to see me talk with my hands even more. Today we're going to continue our series on spellcasting, and we're going to be talking about the Paladin. Yes, I know Paladin spell slots are usually used for smiting, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is one of the best ways to use them. But there are other things Paladins have in their arsenal that are definitely worth checking out, especially some good concentration spells we're going to go over later. Today we're going to talk about the top 5 picks for 3rd level spells. Paladins don't get these until they're level 9, so near the end of Tier 2. And it's important to discuss the difference that makes in combat. Other characters are getting their 3rd level spells at level 5. By the time Paladins are getting their 3rd level spells, other spellcasters are getting their 5th level spells. So you really have to choose the best spells possible in order to maintain pace with the other casters, especially when you're talking about the Paladin's cousin, the Cleric. Because clerics, once they get those 5th level spells and they start to surpass the Paladin, they can really amp up the power. And the Paladin has to be competitive. They are one of the best classes in the game. So let's have a look at what spells help them maintain that. Now, you're going to see some overlap here with cleric spells because starting with the 5th choice on the list, we have Remove Curse. This is something that holy casters can do, and it allows you to get rid of a curse on another creature. It doesn't specify where the curse had to come from, just anything that is a curse can be removed. It even allows you to break attunement to a cursed object. It doesn't allow you to uncurse a magic item. So if you accidentally attune to a cursed sword or piece of armor, then you're not going to be able to cleanse it of that curse using this spell, but you can unattune from it so that your party member doesn't have to take the negative effects of that curse. It's just a really good ability to have in your pocket for those days that it's really needed. Speaking of other abilities that you should have for when they're needed, number 4 is Aura of Vitality. This is a spell which was originally Paladin only. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything kind of opened it up to other classes, but originally a Paladin would cast this on themselves as an action, and they concentrate on it for a minute, and it creates an aura around you. You choose a creature within 30 feet and use your bonus action to heal them for 2d6. You can do this for the entire minute of concentration, up to a maximum of 20d6 potential healing. This is a very potent healing ability, even at level 9, when the Paladins can pick this up. And using this as a end-of-day heal-up, if you're not going to get a long rest for whatever reason, is a very good way to pick the party back up. And if you're not using your concentration for anything else, it is actually a fantastic thing for a Paladin to throw this down to help keep the party alive. It's a good use of your bonus action for sure. Now, the 3rd pick on this list is a very interesting spell, especially when we're talking about a group of marshals. This is the sort of thing I would highly prioritize when I'm fighting alongside perhaps a war cleric, a fighter, a monk even. This is the sort of thing that the more attacks you make, the better this is going to be, and that is Crusaders Mantle. Crusaders Mantle, you cast on yourself, you concentrate for a minute, and it gives you another 30-foot aura. Sound familiar? Well, in this case, any friendly creature within that aura, when they make an attack, will get an extra 1d4 damage to that attack. That doesn't sound like a whole lot until you realize it's not just you. It's everyone. It's the whole party. That's why I would focus on this when I've got marshals that are working together. Battlefield positioning is very important for this spell because you're allowed to give this buff to every attack that your party makes as long as they're within 30 feet of you. So all those attacks the fighters are making, especially if they're using Action Surge, all of those attacks monks are making. Even the sneak attack from the rogue gets the extra buff, as long as they're close enough to you, and that is well worth doing in the right party composition, and if nothing else, it powers up you as well. So it's just that extra damage, and when you're using your concentration to increase the damage of your party, you're doing it right. Now, the second spell on this list is one of those spells that you really want to pack in case of emergency, because every party needs this spell. The spell is Revivify. Yes, paladins can learn Revivify as well. They spend their action and a 300 gold piece diamond, which is consumed by the spell, so you always want to have one or two of those sitting around. And it brings a party member, or anybody, who has died in the last minute back to life. Sometimes Aura Vitality isn't up, and you are using your concentration for something else. Sometimes the cleric doesn't have any healing spells left. Sometimes you just can't get to the party member who's making death saves and they actually die. You can't bring someone back from the dead with Healing Word, but you can with Revivify. And if your party doesn't want to start rolling up new characters and this, person needs to be alive, which nobody likes a dead D&D character. I mean, some DMs do, but that's not the point. The point is that Revivify is a staple of holy magic, and it's something that no party should go without. It doesn't matter if you don't have a ranger, if you don't have a druid, you don't have a cleric, and your paladin is the only option, you should have Revivify. It is, without a doubt, one of the most important spells in the entire game. Only surpassed by the number one spell on this list. I mentioned Crusaders Mantle earlier, giving the entire party a d4 extra on their damage. But what if you are the damage dealer and you need to lay down as much damage as possible? That d4 doesn't always cut it. Number one on this list is Spirit Shroud. You cast the spell, and as a bonus action, it empowers you. So you can attack the same turn you use it. And then all your attacks get an extra d8 of damage, as well as slowing down creatures within 10 feet of you. This is, without a doubt, one of the best damage boosts in the game. And it is very, very potent for a paladin. A d8 is bigger than a d4, to be sure. And with the extra ability to slow down your enemies, it keeps you as the battlefield controller up in the front, slowing and hurting the targets to make sure that everyone in the back doesn't get hurt, which is the key point of being a paladin. Typically, paladins are the protectors. So, let's not forget, Crusaders Mantle, if you've got a bunch of marshals who don't really need protecting, per se, that might be a better choice than Spirit Shroud. But in your standard party composition, where you are the protector, and you're protecting spellcasters or folks that aren't necessarily going to mix it up in melee combat, then Spirit Shroud is your ticket to doing as much damage as possible, and I think is the best spell for a paladin to pack. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more spellcasting reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.